the coordinate plane. A lot of times we refer to this as grids or graphing or whatever it is. You can put grids, graphing. But the coordinate plane is this whole plane here that has x and y numbers on it. And it's a way, you know, our whole Earth is marked up into a coordinate plane. We call them lines of latitude, lines of longitude. You know, if you're trying to give out in the middle of the ocean and you're trying to tell somebody where you're at, you just can't say, hey, I'm right next to that wave, because there's billions of waves out there. They will tell you the coordinates where your exact points or locations are. And on the coordinate plane, we need to know these things here, especially this one. We put these, we have a coordinate plane that has an x-axis, which is this one. This is the x-axis. And the one that goes up and down is the y-axis. Okay. And we separate our coordinate plane into 4 different parts. This quarter right here is quadrant number 1. For some reason we use Roman numerals for this, just know that that's a 1. They're pretty simple. This is quadrant number 2. This is quadrant number 3. And the Roman numeral for quadrant number 4 is not 4 i's next to each other, it's an I and a V. That is quadrant number 4. And the way that you tell somebody what point you're looking for is that we use what's called an ordered pair. It's called an ordered pair because the order of it matters. The order of that pair matters, and you will always, if you're asked to give a coordinate, you always will put parentheses, and you'll always separate the 2 numbers with a comma. And the first number in that parenthesis is the x number. And it is the how far over number. Okay. The second number is the y number, and it is how far up or down. We'll just say up or down. So if I am looking for this specific point, I start, by the way, right here, and we call that, let's make sure we get that, that is the origin. It already says it there. That's point 0, 0. Goes 0 up, 0 over. If I am doing point 3, comma 2, I go over 3 and up 2, and that's where my little turtle stops at that point. And you can see it says point 3, comma 2 there. Or this one over here. It's negative 3, comma 2. Negative 3 means you go backwards 3 places and up positive 2. There's your negative 3, 2. Or negative 3, comma negative 2 goes negative 3 but down 2 places for that. Or 3, comma negative 2 goes over 3 and down 2. That's that point. Where would point 4, comma negative 5 be? Give you a second. See if you can pick out 4, comma negative 5. The place where most people go wrong is they go up and down rather than over first. Remember, it is always the over first. Put a point for me at point 4, comma negative 5. If you're looking for that point, it would be over 4. Negative 5 would be way down here right in the middle of my 4. You know. Another way to think about it is this. If you find 4 on the x-axis, here is 4 on the x-axis. This whole line is 4 on the x-axis. Here is negative 5 on the y-axis. The place where those 2 dashed lines cross is the point point that I'm plotting there, 4, 5. What if I asked you to give me point -1, 2? Where is -1, 2 on that grid? -1, 2. Hopefully, you got -1, 2. -1, 2. And problem, yeah, ma'am.
When we have like on a lesson, when it shows up, do we have to write the whole graph out?
If they ask you to plot a point, yes. But usually they're going to ask you just to give a point, then no. But if they ask you, if they say to make a grid, then yeah, you're going to have to write it out. But generally, it won't be that bad. Now, the place where most people go wrong are these. Something like 0, 3 and -2, 0. People always get things that have zeros in them wrong because they kind of do it backwards. But you have to remember, this one, it is 0 left or right. It starts at the origin and doesn't go either way. It just goes up 3. 0, 3 is right here. I don't know why it's going. Too many things wrong. Let me shut down something here. I'm going to guess it's that DLL host thing. Yeah, look at that. 500 million, whatever that thing is. Get rid of that. Let's try that. Okay. And -2, 0 is where -2 doesn't go up and down at all. -2, 0. That's where most people, they get the axis things messed up. Just make sure you keep those sort of things straight. Let me see what else they ask you to do. Blah, blah, blah. Or, and you have to be able to say, if I gave you this point, what is this point right here? Well, that one's kind of easy. What is that point right there? Sam?
6, 6, or 6,6.
Yeah, 6,6. How about this point right here? Who's got that point right there? Jordan Shaw says,
-5.
-5 over and 1 up. Yep, -5 and 1. Everybody feel relatively confident? How about this point right here? What would that point be? Zach?
-2, 3. -2,
-3. There. Now, in order to get you a little bit of practice on this, let me fire this up here. In order to give you a little bit of practice on this, if you look at just a little bit bigger here. That's not what I want. This. Nope. Try again. Try again. If you look at page, there we go. Open up your book to page 366. You are going to do hold on a second. Make sure we got the right one. You're going to do, I believe, wait a second. You are going, well, we might do both of those. No, we'll do the problem number 11. Problem number 11. You see number 11 there that's got all of those coordinates? Let me give you some direction here. Okay, basically it's a dot to dot and you are finding the places. So, you're going to start out with point A. Point A is -9, 0. I'll help you out with that. It's right here. You with me? -9, 0. Point B is what?
6,
6,
6, negative 1. So you're going to go 6, here's negative 1. And with a straight edge, let me repeat, with a straight edge, a ruler slash a protractor, a whatever you have that's straight, you are going to draw this line.
That's negative.
Oh, did I do it backwards? Who told me the wrong coordinates? Wait, what was it supposed to be? 6, negative 1?
Yeah.
How about that? So 6, negative 1, was it supposed to be right there? Alright, then you will draw, did I do this one right?
Yes.
Alright, then you're going to draw that line and connect those 2 points. Glad I got you caught me before I got too far away with this. Then you will connect that to letter C, which is 8, 0, right here. And so on until you finish. Yeah, oh, I was going to do the half thing. People always get kind of mixed up with that whole half business. But just know this, you know where half of something is. For example, point number which one? Point number M, 10 and 1/2, 0. Is it negative 10 and a half?
Yeah.
Negative 10 and a half. Here's negative 10, here's a negative 11. Negative 10 and a half is right here, halfway between. Just put a point there. You don't have to be exactly close, and that's where 0 would be. Or problem letter P, negative 3, negative 3 and a half. Well, here's negative 3, here's negative 4. Negative 3 and a half would be that point right there. Halves should not be very difficult for you to do. And then you're going to ask about, look at letter G. What's wrong with letter G? That's going to say, people say, what am I supposed to do? Letter G is bad because there is no 12 on your grid, but you are 6th graders. You are 6th graders. Negative 12, 2 and a half. You can just make your own little mark here about where it would be. Negative 12, 2 and a half would be somewhere around.
It says negative 2 and a half. 9 negative. He means G
I
on
was
the
on
other
point
page.
G. I was on point G of the problem 11. Doesn't it?
There's 2 G's.
Oh, I meant G on page 367. It's a different G. When you finish A through S on that first part, that will be one part, and then you start all over again and do A through Q on the second part. They need to go together. They are 2 parts of the same picture. Got that? It'll be fun when you get done with it.
Yeah.
Or not.